Story sound. The stranger's obsession had begun to bear fruit, though no one in the town could yet comprehend the magnitude of what was unfolding. Nights grew longer with his constant scribbling. Days seemed shorter as whispers about him filled every corner of the streets. He moved with a precision and focus that bordered on the supernatural, as if every step, every motion was guided by some unseen force. It was in the depth of the forest that the discovery happened. The stranger, wandering through the thick undergrowth, found a clearing unlike any other. A circle of ancient trees, their roots intertwined like the veins of the earth itself. Sunlight pierced through the canopy in golden shafts, illuminating the ground in a way that seemed deliberate, as though nature itself had prepared the stage. Here he sat cross-legged, notebook open, pen flying across pages with frantic intensity. The air around him hummed with energy. Birds paused mid-flight, the wind stilled, and even the rustling leaves seemed to lean closer to hear what was being written. He was no longer merely observing. He was seeing. Patterns unfolded before his eyes, the invisible threads that connected all living things, the hidden rhythms of the universe, the silent laws that governed time, space, and human fate. At first, the discovery came in glimpses, a fleeting vision, a sudden understanding. But slowly clarity grew. Circles aligned with spirals, lines intersected with perfect symmetry, revealing structures within structures. Numbers, symbols, and words interwove to form a tapestry of meaning so profound that it defied ordinary comprehension. Elias, now older and more determined, followed him again, heart pounding with both fear and awe. He had become more than a boy fascinated by a stranger. He was now a student, a witness, and in some small measure a participant in the unfolding revelation. Watching from the shadows, he felt the pull of knowledge, the irresistible temptation to understand what the stranger had discovered. "Do you see it?" the stranger asked, not turning, as though he could sense Elias even in the darkness. Elias nodded silently, unsure if he truly understood or if he merely thought he did. The pattern seemed to twist and dance, slipping away just when comprehension seemed within reach. "It's beautiful," he whispered. "Yes," the stranger said, voice low and intense. "But beauty is only the beginning. What we are discovering here is far more than elegance. It is the blueprint of life itself, the hidden architecture that shapes every heartbeat, every thought, every choice." The words were heavy, laden with implications that Elias could barely grasp. He had sensed power before, but this was different. This was creation itself in a form so precise and terrifying that it felt alive. Days turned into nights, nights into weeks as the stranger and Elias worked together. The town below them continued its hum, oblivious to the magnitude of the events unfolding in the forest. People spoke of strange lights at night, of fleeting shadows moving between the trees, of an energy that seemed to pulse in the air itself. Some of the townspeople ventured closer, drawn by curiosity and the lingering whispers. A few saw glimpses of the notebook, glimpses that left them gasping or fainting, unable to bear even partial knowledge of what was being discovered. They didn't understand, but they knew with a visceral certainty that something monumental was happening and that it had consequences beyond imagining. The stranger began to speak more frequently, though rarely to anyone but Elias. He explained the logic behind the patterns, the way symbols and numbers aligned to reveal unseen truths. "This knowledge," he said, "is not merely for observation. It is for action. It carries responsibility. To wield it without understanding would be catastrophic. Elias listened, absorbing every word, every gesture. He realized that discovery was a double-edged sword. The knowledge they were uncovering could elevate humanity to unimaginable heights, or destroy it utterly if misused. The notebook, once a private journal of obsession, had become a map, a guide, a living document. Pages multiplied with astonishing speed, filled with sketches, diagrams, and notes that seemed to anticipate questions before they arose. Every time Elias thought he understood, the patterns shifted, revealing layers he had not noticed. One night, under a crescent moon, Elias finally asked the question that had haunted him from the beginning. Why here? Why now? The stranger looked up, eyes reflecting the silver light. Because the world is ready in small increments, not at all once. Some truths must emerge slowly, in shadows and whispers, so they can be absorbed without breaking the mind. Our town is small, forgotten, perfect for discovery. Elias nodded, though his heart ached with the weight of comprehension. He realized that discovery was not just about seeing, it was about understanding the responsibility that came with vision. Knowledge without wisdom, he understood, was more dangerous than ignorance. And then, one morning, the breakthrough happened. Symbols on the page aligned with sudden, undeniable clarity. Patterns emerged in three-dimensional space, like a lattice connecting every person, every living thing, every moment in time. The stranger's pen froze. Elias held his breath. "This is it," the stranger whispered, voice barely audible. "We have found it, the secret." The air seemed to vibrate. The forest held its breath. For a moment, time itself seemed to pause, acknowledging the weight of the revelation. The secret they had discovered was not simple. It was not a trick or a formula that could be recited. It was a map of existence, a key to understanding the hidden currents that ran through life, death, and destiny. Elias felt overwhelmed, exhilarated, and terrified all at once. He realized that this discovery would change everything, not just for him and the stranger, but for the entire world once it was revealed. And yet he also understood something crucial. The secret was fragile. It demanded patience, discernment, and care. Exposure too soon could unravel the delicate fabric they had uncovered. The stranger closed the notebook, finally looking directly at Elias. "Remember this moment, not just what we have discovered, but how it feels. Knowledge alone is not enough. We must carry it wisely, or the world may not survive the truth." From that moment, Elias's life changed forever. He was no longer merely an observer. He had crossed a threshold into understanding, into responsibility, into a world that few could even imagine. The discovery had bound them together, stranger and student, in a pact of silence and comprehension that would shape the coming days in ways they could not yet predict. The town below remained unaware, but the whisper of change had begun. People would notice it in fleeting moments, a sudden instinct, a flash of insight, an uneasy feeling that the world had shifted slightly, imperceptibly, yet irrevocably. The stranger's discovery was not complete. It never could be. Every answer revealed more questions. Every pattern unlocked deeper mysteries. And as Elias watched the pen trace lines across the notebook once more, he realized that discovery was not a destination. It was a journey without end. And thus the obsession deepened, not just in the stranger, but in those who dared to follow. The town itself, once quiet and ordinary, had become a crucible, a testing ground for forces that would ripple far beyond its borders, shaping destiny in ways no one could yet comprehend.